Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Well, as you can see from my thumbnail, I recently just decided to open a new sketchbook. I still keep the label and it's from this German brand. I don't know how to pronounce it. Hahnemühle, I don't know. So yeah, it's a 200 GSM A5 paper. And I just recently did just 2 pieces of this. Something inspired from Google and something from Goblin. Of course, I decided to open this and name this journal as Painted Illustrations Journal because it will be mostly done in watercolor, but mostly all of them I intend to use this book as illustrations journal. But because I already have another watercolor journal, that is this one. I think I've shown you some of them. Yeah, some of them are watercolor journals, and I won't consider this, count this as illustrations because most of them are all loose watercolor, you know, so they're different. They're not illustrations, they're just, well, watercolor pieces, you know. So I think this one is the most closest to illustration, to an illustration. So, but this one definitely will have more significant characters, illustrations. So this one will just be my so-called loose watercolor journals, and it will continue being so. I think I've shown some of my processes on my channel. Yep. In fact, I already have 2 other types of art journals, which is my mixed media journal, which I've shown some of you, the processes, you know, things like this, the Goblin one, yeah, things like this. But they are another type of art journal, see, so I'm just addicted to art journals, that's all I can say. So at times I want to do something mixed media, I'll take out this one. So at times I just want to do something just doodly drawings, you know, colored in Copic markers or just markers, you know, color markers. So this, things like this. You can see this, some drawings that I've done, I've not colored yet. So yeah, this is mostly my sketches, just my rough sketches. Things like this. This is also an art journal, basically. Something I used to do some practices. So, like I said, I decided to open this book recently. In fact, it's a very old sketchbook that I've got some 2 years ago, if I'm not wrong. So, like I said, there are times when I decide to do something mixed media. Sometimes I just want to watercolor loosely, sometimes I want to draw and color using my Copic markers or my water-based markers, you know, things like that. So this time round I wanted to do an illustration colored in watercolor. So I gave in to the temptation and decided to just open this and start to do some illustrations, watercolor illustrations. So today I decide to do a fan art. So, well, I'm a long time Kim Possible fan, and I used to draw a lot of Kim Possible back in 2006, 2007. So now, about 2 decades later, I can tell you I have forgotten how to draw her. But yeah, just recently, back in 2019, I did use her Buse Unstoppable as a muse for my Inktober. So let's see. I'm just drawing her out of my memory. I know KP has a very large pair of eyes, so at times her whole eye are filled with her, pupil. Seriously, it's been a long time since I drew her. I almost forgot her proportions. I know I'm wrong here, but let's see. Her ears doesn't have any earlobe, so it's just a blank ear. Her sideburns. Her hair kind of cover her eye there, so it's too big. Damn, it's been a long while since I drew her. Can't remember how she looks. I know there's one line here and two lines here. Impossible, I know she has a different profile for her left and another different profile for her right. And this is her right profile. Her hair looks different from different profiles. I may have made her head a bit too One thing about KP is that she has, pointy boobies. I'll just draw her old mission clothes. There's a black one. Color it later. You know what? I think I've made this eye a bit too far off. Seems about right now. Let's move on to her boyfriend, Ron Stoppable. Ron has a very long face. He's a very lanky boy and has a very a bigger face than Kim, of course. So yeah, how about there? Let's do something romantic.
You and me on a date?
It could happen.
And his nose, he has a long nose, and his nose joined his eyebrow there. And he has 3 significant freckles. Not that big, but I'll just make sure I remember to color them later. And one thing about Ron is that he has very large ears. The creators, Bob and Mark, at times they drew him with pretty long ears and sometimes medium length ears, but they are bigger than normal size. His sideburn curves inwards, and his fringe, I know he has 3 pointy fringe, and goes over his eyebrows. Something like that. And one of his head. Ron has a very flat head, I can tell you that. So at times I need to control my guidelines and not give him a proper head. That's a bit too curved. No. Strong. Let's lower down his mouth a bit. Make sure he has his signature long head. Something wrong here. Maybe the fringe is wrong. It's been such a long time since I drew them. Can't remember how they look like. Nope. Okay, KP's head looks a bit too squashed now. I have to make sure that Ron's head is bigger. Okay, now how do I... His hand here, his fist here, his shoulders here, and his elbow about here. Let's do this. Join the joints. He's quite a skinny boy, Ron Weasley. Not Ron Weasley, Ron Stoppable. Very lanky. Shares a lot of commonalities with Ron Weasley. And he has chunky fingers. How do I hold a hand? I'm still not good with drawing hands, but let's just okay, there's a thumb here. I don't know. One finger protruding out. Cartoon fingers are really very chunky and, well, I don't know how to draw them really, but this is his hand. This is his hand. I'll make him wear his normal school clothes. That is a jersey. And his long baggy jersey, red jersey shirt. Black singlet. Let him hold her here. His thumb, his chunky fingers. I just give him 3 fingers here. Just 4. This. How do I draw a rose? A Kim Possible style rose. I don't know. It's just. Okay. Yeah. I'm still not happy with my KB, but oh well. Basically make him slouch behind her. So let's take off the excess graphite. Enough. And as a background, I'm using my compass to give a circle. I don't know how big I want the circle to be. Just no, below here. Okay. Okay. I'm using my 2, 8, and 5 microns. So yeah, I could have drawn all this whole thing up above, but of course when you're drawing you don't really get to gauge where the position of the focal is. But it's a journal still, so I'll take it. So thank you guys for watching. Happy arting. Bye bye.